The night started like any other corporate gala. Chandeliers sparkling overhead, waiters gliding through the crowd with silver trays of champagne and laughter echoing off the marble floors. I walked in with my wife Emily, perfectly composed in her navy gown, her high heels clicking confidently on the polished floor. The room was buzzing with her friends, colleagues, and other guests she'd invited. But my attention was on her. Not because I was possessive, but because I had learned to read her moods, her small gestures, and the subtle ways she tried to assert control over every social setting. Something in her smile tonight felt sharper, more mischievous, and I instinctively knew the evening would test more than my patience. It would test her limits as well. As the champagne glasses rose for a toast, Emily leaned slightly on the table, her friends laughing at something, whispered. Then she raised her glass high, her eyes scanning the room as if she were performing for a crowd, and said in a loud, exaggerated voice, "To real men, not my husband." The words were sharp, playful, yet dripping with malice. Laughter erupted around the table, some nervous, some genuine, but I noticed the subtle tension immediately. All eyes glanced in my direction, expecting a reaction, expecting outrage, expecting drama. I did nothing. Not a twitch, not a blink, not a word. I simply held my glass lightly, letting my gaze meet hers with a calm intensity that made her falter mid-smile. The room began to notice it. The silence beneath my composure stretching longer than the laughter could survive. Emily's confident grin wavered. The thrill she had felt from the public mockery was fading, replaced by that creeping, unsettling recognition that she had underestimated me completely. The seconds felt endless. Emily's friends laughed nervously, sensing the shift, but unsure how to react. Mark, the man she had been subtly flaunting her attention toward all evening, tried to hide his smirk, but even he realized that the power dynamics had suddenly changed. I remained calm, poised. My silence louder than any word she might have expected from me. Every second she hesitated. The joke she thought was harmless grew heavier and more damning in her mind. Finally, I spoke softly, clearly, but with a weight that made the entire table fall silent. "Emily," I said, my voice calm and deliberate. "I hope you're aware that confidence without respect is just arrogance, and arrogance has a cost." The words landed like a stone in water, rippling through the crowd, touching every person who had witnessed her public jab. Emily's smile faltered completely. Her eyes widened with panic. She opened her mouth to respond, but no words came out. Her hands trembled slightly as she gripped the edge of the table, realizing that the man she had mocked was no longer the one she could control with petty jabs. I leaned back slightly, observing, giving her the space to feel the full weight of her actions. "You wanted attention tonight, Emily," I continued calmly. "But what you didn't realize is that some people, some men don't react. They simply wait. And in waiting, the tables turn." Her voice finally broke through, small, trembling, desperate. "Ryan, it was just a joke. Please, you know I didn't mean it." The room shifted uncomfortably. Even her friends exchanged anxious glances. I smiled faintly, almost pityingly. "A joke," I repeated, letting the word hang in the air like a verdict. "Is that what you call humiliating the person who loves you?" Emily's knees shook and she sank slightly onto her chair, gripping her glass as if it were a lifeline. The laughter that had surrounded her now felt distant, hollow. Her bravado evaporated under the weight of the realization that she had misjudged me entirely. She had assumed anger, confrontation, and loud rebukes would be the tools at my disposal. But she hadn't accounted for silence, observation, and calculated calm. The kind that disarms, dominates, and delivers the clearest message without a single shout. "I think you understand now," I said finally, my tone soft but unyielding. "Power isn't in mocking, in teasing, or in public jabs. Power is in patience, in control, in letting someone's own actions reveal their truth." She was trembling, tears forming in her eyes, her pride shattered in front of everyone she wanted to impress. "Please forgive me," she whispered, barely audible. The words were desperate, sincere, and entirely too late. I shook my head slowly, standing and straightening my suit, composed and unshaken. "Forgiveness isn't the point," I said. "Understanding is." And tonight you understand that the person you tried to humiliate is the one who controls his own dignity and your moment of arrogance. She sat there stunned, her friends quietly whispering, some trying to console, some too shocked to intervene. The party continued around us. But for Emily, the world had stopped. The joke she had thought harmless had backfired spectacularly, leaving her exposed, trembling, and forced to confront the very consequences she had laughed at. As I walked away later, leaving her in that frozen state, I realized the true lesson had been delivered. No shouting, no argument, no dramatic scene, just silence, patience, and the perfect moment. And the impact priceless.